Hi, we're interviewing Mr. Deister, and this is the WildCast.
I'm Callie.
I'm Kaylin.
Yes, and this is Mr. Deister, and we're going to interview him for the teacher interviews. Yes.
Okay. What are your hobbies outside of school?
I only have several thousand. I like fly fishing. My favorite hobby is climbing mountains in Glacier Park, peak bagging, aka. Kayaking. I recently got into hunting, hanging out with my wife and 2 daughters. Pickleball is a recent one. Quite good at pickleball. Ping pong, etc. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
that would be. Okay. What's your favorite thing about school? About the school?
This school?
Yes, the school.
Don't take it personally, but it's the adults that I work with. Like I come to work and they're just awesome people and everyone's friendly. I think everyone except for me here is friendly. Yeah, and just everyone's on the same side. There's not a competition. It's everyone's helpful, and we're all just helpful people that want students to succeed, of course. But it's those colleagues that really help me get through the good times and the tough times. And kids are great too, most of them. But yeah, I think that's my favorite part. Is just the adults that I get to work with every day.
How many years have you been teaching?
This is year number 9. Yeah, year number 9. So let's see, I'm 57, so I started when I was 48.
What is your favorite food?
Oh boy, tacos. And I like seafood, so fish tacos with jalapenos, white sauce, soft shell, but not so it tears. Still gotta be sturdy, but soft, like steamed.
Mm.
You want more details?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was good.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about teaching?
That's a good question. It sounds cliche, but it really is when I'm teaching something to a student and I can see that they're getting it and that they're understanding. And with my class, yeah, it's keyboarding, but I try to bring in a lot of the outside world of business and technology and help kids understand how it applies to their lives. And when I can see that they're interested and they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense now. Like, I understand why this happens or that happens. And it's all coming together. Like, I don't know. I just think that's awesome and fun.
Yeah, I like it when I can understand.
Teach.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
What's your favorite subject when you were in school?
Again, maybe this sounds cliche, but PE. That was awesome, right? You're stuck in a chair all day learning stuff, and then you get to go to this one random class and play dodgeball and frisbee and football and run around, and it's just like, oh, this is the best. And I did like math. I do like math. I have a bachelor's in math, so that's a good balance, don't you think?
Yeah.
Math and dodgeball.
Dodgeball math. Answer the question, you get to throw a ball at a kid.
You have something here. I like it.
What was middle school like for you growing up?
I think about this occasionally because I remember like the younger elementary grades, like 1 through 4. And I remember high school quite well, but middle school is kind of this like, oh yeah, middle school. I forgot about that. It's like, it's where I have the least amount of memories, which is kind of scary as a middle school teacher because I realize now that everyone comes through here and just instantly forgets about me, which in some ways is good. What was the question? What was my...
What was middle school like for you growing up?
I mean, it was good. I went to Whitefish Middle School. Good teachers. played all the sports, had good friends. One of the craziest parts was that was whatever year it was, 50 or so years ago. They built a new middle school. So the middle school we were in was built in 1906 or 7, something like that. Ancient, cold, creaky pipes, scary. And
Ghosts.
then they rebuilt it while we were going to school there. And so I remember like my 8th grade year of middle school, we had these temporary classrooms above the gym, and then the whole May we were carting. It was like, don't quote me on this. I guess we're being recorded. I mean, they conscripted us into helping them move all the stuff from the old school to the new school, instead of learning stuff, which was fine. But that was a crazy experience because we were being moved and there was construction going on constantly, and I guess kind of the rear kids went through that, I suppose. But
yeah, because we brought some of because they built a whole new part. We brought some of like the classroom stuff in those new classrooms.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like moving to a whole different like building. It was like.
Yeah, so it's not a unique experience, I guess, and I'm not asking for sympathy, but it was that is something I definitely remember, was that kind of crazy experience.
What is a quote you live by or that inspires you?
I've got a bunch of quotes up in my classroom that I just kind of look at periodically. One of them, I think, if I can remember it, is Aristotle said, to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. Which basically means, like, if you don't want people to critique you or judge your decisions, then just do nothing. Just don't do anything, and no one will critique you. But what kind of life is that? So if you do anything that's difficult or hard or challenging or outside the box, people are going to critique it. And but don't worry about that, because that's not what it's about. Teddy Roosevelt also had a speech about the man in the arena, and he said something about it's not the critic who counts; it's the guy who's in the arena getting sweaty and bloody and taking the punches, and even if he fails knowing that he gave it his best shot. Whereas the critic sitting in the audience critiquing how he could have done it better, what has he done? Another quote that I really like, C.S. Lewis. He said, "Adventures are never fun while you're having them." What does that mean?
That kind of makes sense, because like maybe you don't want the adventure, like maybe you got dragged into it, but then after the adventure you maybe like learn something or like you experience something.
Yeah, exactly. So like one of my favorite things is peak bagging, climbing tall mountains in Glacier Park. And like sometimes some of my fondest memories now are running out of water and just being exhausted and just wishing it was over, and being tired, or hiking out in the dark and it was scary, and it was just, at the time, it was like, this is miserable. This is a sufferfest. But now when I look back at it, it's like, wow, that was an adventure. It's like I don't remember the kind of easy day hikes as much. It's those hardcore adventures that are difficult at the time that we look back on. And I think teaching is like that sometimes. Like, maybe you have an easy day and it's fun and you go home and it's all good. Are you going to remember that? Well, maybe. But how about those hard days where you struggle, or a student struggles, and you get through it together, or you lean on a colleague, or you go, it's tough, it's hard. It's like, today was not fun. But then you look back and you go, wow, that was memorable. And it was kind of fun. Or it was a challenge and I got through it and we overcame together. And that was an adventure in a way.
Yeah. I don't know how to speak. It's a adventure in your mind.
Yeah.
It's like a memory of that adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, core memories, I think, or adventures build core memories, and a lot of times it's through difficulty.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's types of fun. You know who Steve Rinella is? Meat eater.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He says, I don't think he invented this. There's 2 types of fun. Type 1 fun, which is fun while you're doing it. Riding a roller coaster
or playing
a video game.
Yeah.
And then type 2 fun is kind of the same concept. It's not fun while you're doing it, but when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was fun, right? Does that answer your question?
Yes. Who was your favorite middle school teacher and why?
I had lots of really good middle school teachers. Some of the highlights are Mr. Pete Metzmaker, 7th grade science. Mr. Tim Jern, 8th grade science. Mr. Scott Furta, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th PE. And I liked all of those teachers because, you know, they didn't put up with nonsense. There was no nonsense in class, right? But they still made it fun. They were fun teachers. You could have a good time. You know, you could make jokes. You could laugh. But we knew where the line was, and you didn't cross the line. And then everyone had a good time in that kind of environment. And it was just, they were respected, but also liked. And I think that's what I go for now is like, you know, let's not mess around. Let's not have any nonsense, but we can have fun. And so those are three that I remember. And yeah, just really good guys, good people, and you could tell.
Yeah.
We have no more questions.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. You know, I thought you were going to ask maybe why did you get into teaching? And
That was his fault. Blame Mr. Miller.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that on camera here? It would have been nice for you to listen to Mr. Deister here.
you know, I've been a fan of podcasts for years and years and years. And so, you know, when I was in college, I thought, how can I end up on a podcast one day? You know, like what course could I, you know, what avenue of life could I get through? I thought, well, maybe teaching, you know. Teachers are important and famous. And so here I am, 9 short years later, I've accomplished my goal. So I'll have to make a new goal, I guess. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We do, just real quick, Wembley ties. Wembley ties are the best place to get ties. Use my promo code Deister for 5% off. Wembley ties. Thank you.